Time now for French Connections, our weekly look at the intricacies of life here in France with Florence Philomeno.
Hey, Monty.
Hi, Flo. Good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
So this week, we're going to focus on what for decades was one of France's most prestigious institution of higher education, the ENA.
The ENA, exactly. There are elite graduate schools, and then there is l'ENA, which is our acronym du jour, l'École Nationale de l'Administration. It's a national monument, really the crème de la crème of France's grande école, which are these highly competitive institutions that you might compare to like the Ivy League or Oxford and Cambridge, etc. Now, located in Strasbourg, l'ENA is essentially a finishing school for top civil servants, and amongst its illustrious alumni are several former presidents like Valéry Giscard d'Estaing, Jacques Chirac, François Hollande, countless prime ministers and ministers. The school is really seen as a pathway to power both in the public and in the private sectors. In fact, a lot of people say that France is run by les énarques, graduates from l'ENA.
Well, you mentioned those presidents. Well, President Emmanuel Macron himself attended the school, and now he's vowed to abolish the institution, which is widely regarded as a symbol of elitism and inequality.
Which is interesting because when l'ENA was created in 1945 by Charles de Gaulle, the whole purpose of it was to open up France's civil service. This was after World War II, and France really needed to rebuild its civil service, parts of which had collaborated with the Nazi occupier. And initially, it really did succeed in opening up the public administration to people from different backgrounds, because in theory, the very tough entrance exam to get into l'ENA is a meritocratic exam, but in practice, richer candidates who have the right set of social skills kind of have, I guess you could say, an edge over candidates from more modest backgrounds. And so that means that over the years, the school's lack of diversity has really worsened. For instance, only 1% of the last graduating class of 80 had a working class parent. So critics say not only is it elitist, it's out of touch.
Dans les années 50-60, vous avez 45% des élèves qui proviennent des catégories supérieures. Et dans les années 90-2000, on arrive à 70%. Parce que le ENA est un point de départ très important pour des carrières brillantes. Donc, il y a une très grosse demande au sein des classes dirigeantes françaises pour que leurs enfants puissent passer le ENA.
So, Flo, critics say l'ENA is a symbol of privilege in a society where social mobility has broken down.
It's easy to forget that before the coronavirus pandemic took over the spotlight and center stage in the news, the main topic people were talking about in France was social tensions in France and a perceived growing gap between the haves and the have-nots. And of course, this was very visible during the Yellow Vest protest movement, a movement that was sparked by a sense that France's leaders are somewhat out of touch with ordinary French people, specifically people living outside of big cities.
Après la crise des Gilets jaunes, l'ENA servait un peu de bouc émissaire en disant voilà, on supprimera l'ENA et le lien entre la France d'en haut et la France d'en bas ira mieux.
So out with the ENA, what's going to replace it?
Well, l'ENA will no longer exist by name in 2022. Instead, it will be merged along with about a dozen other public and administrative schools into a single organization called the Institut du Service Public, another acronym. So this is the Public Service Institute, which will still be based on the same campus in Strasbourg. There will still be a very tough entrance exam. So is it just a name change? Not quite. According to authorities who run the schools, basically they want to open up the recruitment process to make it more diverse and also ensure that graduates get on-the-ground experience in the regions, so in real France, before accessing top jobs.
L'ensemble des fonctionnaires, des hauts fonctionnaires de notre pays auront un tronc commun de formation sur l'écologie, sur le numérique, sur les questions d'inégalité, sur le rapport à la science et sur les valeurs de la République. On décloisonne aussi l'origine territoriale géographique des élèves. Plus d'élèves boursiers, plus d'élèves des territoires ruraux, plus d'élèves des universités et moins des grandes écoles parisiennes.
So the decision to overhaul l'ENA comes as the countdown begins to this big presidential election we have here in France, which has critics wondering about Macron's intentions.
Now, Macron says it's all about fixing France's social elevator and creating a public service that is more modern, more transparent, more efficient, and less bureaucratic. But critics say It's all about politics. This is a PR stunt with Macron neck and neck with the far-right leader Marine Le Pen. This abolition of l'ENA seems like a strategy to reconnect with the people, with the real French people. Critics say this is essentially a populist measure that is mostly cosmetic and won't necessarily resolve the underlying problems of inequality in France, or also the problem of how to train France's top civil servants.
Nous avons besoin d'une école de formation des cadres. Donc on peut la supprimer aujourd'hui, on va la recréer demain. Donc c'est, je dirais, totalement hypocrite de laisser croire, si vous voulez, qu'on n'en a pas besoin.
C'est ceux qui n'osent pas, qui ne se donnent pas les moyens de réformer l'État. Il se trouve des compensations en supprimant l'ENA.
So will reforming l'ENA magically resolve all of France's problems and inequality, etc.? Probably not. But if it is more than just a cosmetic change, it could be a first step to ensuring that French leaders, that the top of the ruling class, if you will start to look a little bit more like the diverse society that France really is.
So we'll have to see exactly how it changes.
Absolutely.
Flo, thanks so much. That's all we have time for. In the meantime, tweet your questions at Flo Villamineau and check out our website, france24.com. Stay tuned for more world news here on France 24.